4:13, late afternoon, Monday, October 27th. I'm Bobby Trosset. This live stream is brought to you by my friends at Preston Automotive Group. If you could on the way in, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership. The guest lines are also open. If you'd like to call in and share a thought with me, click on the link that I have included right now as a pinned comment. By now, you know the Ravens are 2-5. Their playoff hopes still alive after Tyler Huntley and company take care of the Chicago Bears, snapped their 4-game win streak yesterday in Baltimore at the bank. 30-16, of course, was the final. It's a short week now. Down to South Florida they go for a Thursday night game, primetime football against the 2-6 Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, Tua Tagovailoa, and everything else that they're going to present, probably just as desperate, if not more desperate, than the current state of these Ravens right now. The current state in terms of Vegas and the way Vegas views Baltimore is pretty darn favorable. They're the odds-on favorite to win the AFC North at -105. They're 2-5, and yet, again, this is where they stand in the betting world. Pittsburgh, having lost last night to Green Bay, they're in a world of hurt. They were 1 for 10 on third down. Their defense looks unrecognizable. They're undisciplined. They had a key turnover in crunch time. They're 4-3, plus 160 to win the North. Cincy, 23 fourth quarter points they surrendered to the New York Jets. Aaron Glenn, Justin Fields and company get their first win of the season. Bengals and Joe Flacco dropped to 3-5. He's dealing with a shoulder injury. He's day-to-day, plus 500. Joe Burrow, nowhere near returning from, of course, his procedure several weeks back. And, of course, Cleveland, they spoiled Myles Garrett's career day, a 5-sack performance. The Browns are 2-6. And I'll let you read the odds because it's hard to even say it without actually cracking up because that's absurd. So, as of yesterday, in this graphic courtesy of Pro Football Talk, just four teams since the merger in 1970 have started 1-5 and gone on to make the playoffs. Most recently, the Washington football team, now Commanders, did it, but they were 7-9, and we know that the NFC East routinely in recent years, aside from Philadelphia, and okay, Dallas, I guess, is a much better regular season team, all things considered, than it comes to the postseason. We know the NFC East is not exactly the strongest division when you look around the league. But that was the last time. The last time this happened was 2020 when the Washington football team accomplished making the playoffs after starting 1-5. Well, we can take another step further because, again, the Ravens improved, as I've mentioned, to 2-5 yesterday. Since 2020, 4 teams have gone on to make the postseason when starting 2-5. Most recently, the Green Bay Packers in 2023. Prior to that, Jacksonville did it the year prior. Philadelphia did it in 21. And again, the Commanders, and it was actually the Washington football team at the time, did it in 2020. So while it is still, percentage-wise, if you take the odds out of play here, it is still highly unlikely in terms of how often it happens. It's not impossible, particularly given the strength of schedule or lack thereof where the Ravens currently find themselves. If they beat the Dolphins on Thursday night, they would close to within 1.5 games of Pittsburgh, and the Steelers have the Colts this upcoming week, and Indianapolis is playing as good as anybody is right now at 7-1 under Daniel Jones and what they've got going on in Indiana. So that's where things currently stand. And as a result, the Ravens are breathing new life, perhaps. I still have my question marks for sure. But when I heard Ben Johnson say this from an opponent's perspective about the Ravens last night, it felt encouraging.
Monkin always does a great job just schematically. mixing things up. And like I said before, they play a physical brand of football. And so that showed up. That offensive line was getting after it. And, I thought our defensive line, it was quite a battle there throughout the game. We were intent on not letting 22 get started. I thought for the most part we did a pretty good job of that. But then, Huntley hurt us with both his arm and his legs. We let him get some big ones on the ground, and then he threw some accurate balls there in the air. And so I think at one point he was like 12 or 13 or something like that coming out of halftime. So, he played really well, and we didn't do enough to affect him.
He played well enough to win, and of course, while doing so, picked up his 4th career win as the Ravens starting quarterback. And it's the 2nd time, ironically, that he's beat the Chicago Bears when filling in for Lamar. He was 17 of 22 for 186 passing yards. He threw 1 touchdown, did not turn the football over, and he had 53 rushing yards and made the plays and took what the defense gave him. Todd Monken set him up for success schematically and game planning wise, which is one of the reasons why Pat Ricard, who made his 2025 season debut, was so complimentary of his offensive play caller postgame.
Did a lot of great things with different personnel groups to make us less predictable and put guys in the right positions. I think it showed with just how we were moving the ball, getting first downs, getting points on most of our drives at the end of them. Obviously we want to have touchdowns at the end of every drive, but getting points is big. It's big for the offense and our just morale of moving the ball, getting points. I thought it was pretty good.
And speaking of the offensive play caller, he certainly came under fire. And you know what? I always forget to fuck around with these blinds. Give me 1 second. It's that late afternoon Floridian sun. Give me 1 second. Can you guys still hear me? Okay. There we go. Throw that blind down. Here comes Tilly. Sorry about that. Chalking that up to a day after a game. And maybe the Celsius. Speaking of Todd Monken, obviously, what a week it was, this past one, for the 3rd-year offensive play caller. Multiple hit pieces from local journalistic outlets, anonymously through player quotes who were willing to talk, ripped Todd. And specifically, by name, criticized him. Was it inaccurate? Maybe not. And John Harbaugh certainly downplayed the significance of said quotes. Matter of fact, I'll go to specifically how he handled it last night in his post-game podium session when he had this to say, rather defiantly.
I appreciate it. It really wasn't. It was challenging because we just you don't win. You haven't won games, and you want to win games, and we understand we're fighting. I was proud of the guys when we didn't win the games. Our guys fought like crazy against the Texans, the guys that were out there. And they fought like crazy against the Rams, and we turned the ball over. We didn't make the plays we needed to make, get the stops we needed to make. But they're fighting and they're competing. So it wasn't hard in the sense of all the outside noise. That wasn't relevant at all. I mean, anything that was said that's anonymously is it's just noise. It's not even a real statement. It's not a real quote. If there's no name to it, it doesn't exist the way we look at it. And you talk about the game stuff was like a month ago. Nobody cared about that. And like I said, which the people that wrote it already know. They already know it came from the leadership players, but they haven't reported that yet. But that's where it came from. It came from the leadership players. It was a player's decision to do that. So that was nothing. I was kind of proud of it. When I heard about it 2 weeks after it happened, I was like, good, great, cool. I haven't been in the locker room. I don't spend time in the locker room. So that's all nothing. That's nothing. What matters is a team that sticks together and fights. Even when the division, when the outside tries to divide you, that's okay. You got to stick together and you got to be a family. We're going to have our hands full on Thursday night against the Miami Dolphins down in Miami. And that's what we're going to be thinking about. Not going to be worried about some silly story that gets written, by unserious type of a report. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to worry about taking care of our business as best we can and sticking together. You guys agree with that? That's what we're going to contend with. All right, thanks a lot.
All right, so keep in mind, guys, that this is in a press conference setting. Jeff Zaribek, co-host of mine on The Collective, looking forward to tomorrow night's show, 8 o'clock Eastern, for those who haven't yet caught us in our Tuesday night formatting with Cole Jackson as well. He asked the question, and keep in mind, who he's referring to, folks from the Baltimore Sun and the Banner, who wrote these stories, these hit pieces on Todd Monken, are sitting right in front of John Harbaugh. So it's unclear in terms of the eye contact where John was looking. He may very well have been looking right at Jeff since he asked the question. But those that he's shredding are sitting right in front of him. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, who was, again, at the epicenter, really on the wrong end of these hit pieces, was Todd Monken, Ravens offensive coordinator, who, as always, catches up with fans in his way in and on his way out of M&T Bank Stadium after nearly every home game. I know my guy Trippy always seems to be with him, recording him. They clearly have a relationship. In this case, at Hassan Back Again on Twitter. Great follow for Ravens fans. He caught this interaction with Todd Monken after the game last night. Oh, you guys get a load of this. I've watched this several times, and it is just classic, quintessential Todd Monken. And if you don't love this, man, I check your pulse. Watch this.
I'm their muscle. Taking a lot of fucking flack. Fuck them motherfuckers. Let's go.
Yeah, Todd, I believe in you. Yeah, I gave you a chance. I believe in you. I believe in you.
Run that thing back.
Go sit that down, that bird. I'm their muscle. Taking a lot of fucking flack. Fuck them motherfuckers. Let's go.
Yeah, Todd, I believe in you.
Are you guys hearing what I'm hearing? Oh, my God.
I'm their muscle. Taking a lot of fucking flack. Fuck them motherfuckers. Let's go.
I'm taking a lot of fucking flack. Fuck them motherfuckers. Excuse my language. Run that thing back.
I'm their muscle. Taking a lot of fucking flack. Fuck them motherfuckers. Let's go.
Yeah, Todd, I believe in you. Yeah, I gave you a chance. I believe in you.
I think that's trippy.
I believe in
the hood. I think that's trippy. These two have a hilarious relationship. Todd Monken going scorched earth. You got to think yesterday felt real good. If you're Monk, run that thing back once more for those in the back.
Go sit that down, that bird. I'm their muscle. Taking a lot of fucking flack. Fuck them motherfuckers. Let's go.
Yeah, Todd, I believe in you. Yeah, I gave you a chance.
Luke wants to know, how is this going nuclear? Can somebody help out Luke? Luke, you need a little bit of help in the back?
That bird. I'm their muscle. Taking a lot of fucking flack. Fuck them motherfuckers. Let's go.
Yeah, Todd, I believe in you. Yeah.
You want a fired up, you want somebody who loves what he does, loves his players, right? Loves the competitive spirit, the fire. First of all, somebody help out Luke. How did Todd go nuclear? I haven't figured it out yet. Has anybody figured that out yet?
I'm their muscle. Taking a lot of fucking flack. Fuck them motherfuckers. Let's go.
Yeah, Todd, I believe in you. Yeah,
Let me tell you, Todd Monken never dated, man. Has he been perfect? No, he has not. Okay? No, he has not been. There has been no one aspect of this team that's been perfect, which is one of the main reasons and maybe the central reason as to why they sit in the hole that they're currently attempting to dig themselves out of. But when I look at it team-wide, to me, it's more about ball security or lack thereof. It is about the lack of physicality up until the last couple of weeks. And I will include the Rams game in that because I really do think that you've seen a positive step in the right direction. Take the buyout, obviously. I'm going to say the last 2 weeks, really referring to the last two games, even though it's been 3 weeks if you include the bye, defensively speaking. That has everything to do with the acquisition of Alohi Gilman, who's settled things down on the back end, and it's been the exact opposite of what last year consisted of. The first half of the year, or the first 10 weeks, the Ravens wanted Kyle Hamilton to be used the way that they've used him since Alohi came in. Well, this year it was opposite. It was the complete opposite. Probably related to, not probably, knowing it was definitely related to Ardarius Washington being down and the addition of Malachi Starks, right? You got a rookie on the back end. Your veteran and Ardarius isn't available for the foreseeable future as he repairs and recovers from the torn Achilles. And so it's funny how the personnel change has actually been opposite. It's been swapped from a previous year. But you look at the alignment statistics, and NFL Live had it up recently, and I actually was sure to bookmark a clip earlier, and I shared it on the vault, and I'll share it again now. Kyle Hamilton aligned in the box on 61.3% of his defensive snaps in yesterday's win over Chicago. That was the highest rate in a game since week 8 of 2022 in terms of Kyle Hamilton's alignment and usage. What does that say? One, the Ravens defense is a whole lot more explosive and more cohesive, to use Kyle Van Noy's words from his post-game podcast episode that dropped this morning. That's one. Two, Kyle Hamilton up at the line of scrimmage obviously affects the game in a lot more positive, destructive, impactful ways compared to what he can do on the back end. And I'm not diminishing what he does on the back end. And it just frees up different pieces schematically to how the Ravens want to play defense. Roquan Smith coming back with vengeance certainly helped this case and this overall process. I thought Roquan played soundly, efficiently, physically. That's exactly what they needed out of him. Of course, there was a little bit extra on that bone if you're Roquan, being that this was his former team. He finished with a game high 12 total tackles, 7 of which were solo. And again, they blanked Chicago in both the second and third quarters. So, they're not world beaters, are the Chicago Bears. And quite honestly, when you look at this from a whole objectively, you do have to acknowledge several things. One, the Bears secondary was down 3 key starters. 2, DeAndre Hopkins in a big third down conversion probably got away with a textbook OPI that was not called. The Bears had a 58-yard punt yesterday that was negated due to an illegal formation call. And at the end of the first half and at the end of regulation, Ben Johnson and his staff completely mismanaged things and weren't able to get points on the board. So with all of that in mind, and hey, a win is a win. That's the bottom line. You flush this thing in well under 24 hours because you got a trip to Miami looming in a few short days. But looking at it objectively, they still have more improvement and areas that they got to clean up. And I think Derek Coleman's going to do a good job of explaining where and why that is defensively on the vault tomorrow. So I look forward to that very much. I appreciate you guys for being here. Here is what I'm talking about and was alluding. There's Todd again. What I was alluding to a short while ago. This graphic is courtesy of CBS. Okay. Ravens defense. Yes, this is a very, very small sample size. We're just talking about yesterday versus the first 6 games, which does include that Rams game where the defense took a step in the right direction. But overall, the first 6 games, this was a defense that allowed 32.3 points per game. They allowed over 380 total yards of offense per game. They gave up 8 sacks, or excuse me, they recorded just 8 total sacks, 2 of which came from Nnamdi Madubuike, who's down for the year, and were able to muster up just 3 takeaways. And you see night and day so far here, again, against Chicago. 16 points, just 372 total yards allowed. They got to the quarterback, Mike Green, his first career sack, and 1 takeaway courtesy of Nate Wiggins, of course, who, by the way, Kyle Van Noy had some complimentary things to say earlier today on the KBN show.
Hi, this dude is, I want to take a little, he's kind of like my little brother because I spent so much time with him last year. Nate Wiggins, he was my locker next to me. And, I always tell him, if you have a bad game, I'm going to tell him to put you back next to me. I got Malachi, so he's my new little brother. But Nate, if you mess up, you got to come back and move your locker back next to me. So, but yeah, I appreciate Nate. He's worked really hard. He's turned into CB1 before our eyes. He's really been playing at a high level all year. Just got to keep it going. He should make the Pro Bowl and be in conversations for All Pro for how well he's played personally. And, he's helping the defense out.
Kyle Van Noy talking about his former locker mate last year, Nate Wiggins. Quote, he's turned into CB1 before our eyes. He's really been playing at a high level all year. He should make the Pro Bowl and be in conversations for All Pro for how well he's played. And I know some of you at home right now are thinking, Well, did you guys watch that first half? Rome Odunze was having his way with him. Yes, there was a target on number 2's back, if you will. And he did not have an answer for said target, but he had the last laugh. And sometimes when you're the corner, when you're that guy, like Nate Wiggins has proven to be in year 2, still a developing player, still a very young player. He beefed up this offseason, added some weight, right? He's got that slender type frame. I love his ability and willingness to travel with opposing teams' top targets. I love his press ability. I love the way he's got that makeup and recovery speed. And most of all, he's got a short memory, which is part of the reason why he was able to do what he did yesterday. And that was jump the route on a Dunze. Great instincts, great field vision, a sure pair of hands, picked off Caleb Williams. It's a huge play, ultimately validating for John Harbaugh, right, in his decision to punt the football away to Chicago, trust his defense on 4th down, 4th and 5. Don't screw that. I know Tyler Huntley tried to get him offside, but punt it away. Jordan Stout does his job. Tylan Wallace does his. Nate Wiggins does the rest, gives the ball back to the Ravens deep in Chicago territory, right? And there's Todd Monken again. What does he do? He dials it up. Snoop executes it. And on National Tight Ends Day, Charlie Kohler finds the end zone. To me, there's no more significant, more impactful, more groundbreaking sequence in all 4 quarters yesterday. And I commend everybody involved with that sequence because, again, that was a key situation. Listen to Matt Ryan, former NFL quarterback, talk about now where the Ravens find themselves. I'm sure some of you are feeling rather optimistic today. Kirsten Sullivan is one of them. She says, just happy they won. And you should be happy they won. That's your job, Kirsten, right? As a fan. Myself, I can be happy to provide you with what I hope is objective, even keel coverage. And that's always my goal. And that's why, while I'll recognize the step that the Ravens took yesterday, as the late, great Mamba mentality used to say, Kobe Bryant, job not finished. Matt Ryan, interesting, compelling commentary from yesterday's CBS pregame show. I should say postgame show yesterday.
I think you talked about John Harbaugh not shying away from the situation that they're in. And I had a coach that when I played for him, he said one of the most rewarding things in life, pick up what I'm putting down here, Nate, is doing hard-ish with good people.
Oh, hey.
So it's doing hard things with good people.
I feel
right?
you. Okay.
And I think that's what John Harbaugh leans into, right? There is a sense when players play in that building and the organization as a whole, right, it's good people that are doing hard things together. And that's why they've been so successful for so long. And so you look at certain teams that you just feel like are going to dig in and find a way in really difficult situations. And I immediately think of Baltimore. I think one of the things that surprised us so much early in the season was the way they were getting beat, physically getting beat up.
Yeah.
And they've corrected that, right? They came out today against a Chicago team who'd been running the ball extremely well, held them under 100 yards net rushing, right? That's no easy feat to go out there and do that. And so I give them credit for buckling the chin straps, getting back to the basics, playing black and purple football, of beating you up, making sure you're bruised after you go play them. I also think it's almost the perfect case scenario for Lamar Jackson. It was going to be difficult coming in off that hamstring, playing back-to-back Sunday to Thursday. And if you could somehow find a way to get a win out of here with Snoop Huntley, which they did, and keep Lamar's hamstring somewhat healthy where he can maybe play on Thursday and then get that long extended break the first time after playing it and go through this stretch that they have coming up where they go against Miami, they go against Minnesota, they go against Cleveland, they go against the Jets, and they get into division against Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Coach, you've been saying it. Don't count the Ravens out, right? There's a way that they could scratch and claw themselves back into it. And I think it starts and ends with the person who's running the show, and John Harbaugh.
Pretty big endorsement there, a vote of confidence, if you will, from former NFL QB Matt Ryan on not only John Harbaugh, but the entire operation with how things currently stand with the 2-5 Ravens, who, yes, are the odds-on favorites to win the AFC North, leading into a short week against the Miami Dolphins, 2-6. Plenty of dysfunction down in South Florida, over in South Florida, for those of you who know that I am in the St. Petersburg, Florida area at the moment. Kirsten wants to know if there's any updates on the investigation. We'll get to that in just a second. Nikita Ross with our first super chat. What's going on, Nikita? And Nikita writes, good to see Todd Monken with some raw emotion. And just in case you're tuning in late, here is that raw emotion, courtesy of @Hassan back again from the Twitter space.
I'm their muscle. Taking a lot of fucking flack. Fuck them motherfuckers. Let's go.
Yeah, Todd, I believe in you. Yeah. I gave you a chance. I believe in you. I believe in you.
I can't tell if Trippy's in that hood or not. Who is in that hood? I know @Hassan back again. You can see his @ handle on the screen right now. But who the hell is Monkin?
Sit that down there, bird.
I'm their muscle.
Taking a lot of fucking flack. Fuck them motherfuckers. Let's go.
Yeah, Todd, I believe in you. Yeah. I gave you a chance.
You think that meant something to him? You think yesterday meant something to Todd Monken? Anyway, just in case you missed that earlier on, that's courtesy of Hassan and Kirsten. Here is the latest courtesy of Adam Schefter on where things stand going into week 9. Well, week 8 will wrap tonight with the Chiefs game, Monday Night Football. But where the current things stand as a new week begins across the National Football League as it pertains to the Ravens handling, that is, of Lamar Jackson's injury designation from the end of last week.
We're going to conduct interviews this week. The Ravens continue to insist that it was an honest mistake in their words and that it was an accident, and they don't believe that they did anything wrong here. Now, the league will obviously talk to enough people and make a determination about whether or not a fine is warranted in this particular case. I don't think if the league finds wrongdoing that they're going to go more than a fine, but we'll see how this works out. This comes obviously at a time in the sports world where there is a lot of attention on injury reports now. And I would imagine that you're going to see more and more attention paid to this, that the league is going to be very sensitive to teams reporting accurate, honest injury information as we go along. They don't want anything like what's happened here in sports the last week. And so I think the penalties could be tied to that. My guess is there'll be a fine. The league will do the interviews this week, and they'll make a determination about whether or not there is a basis for a fine or some sort of discipline.
All right, Schefter earlier, quote, I don't think if the league finds wrongdoing that they're going to go more than a fine. My guess is there'll be a fine. The league will do the interviews this week, and they'll make a determination. So, again, don't know overall, but probably a step in the right direction for the Ravens, who, again, insist, as John Harbaugh said last night in his post-game press conference, that it was an honest mistake. Perhaps this entire thing was blown out of proportion, but it was still inaccurate, and it was still a breach of NFL policy. So now the league has to step in, figure out just how much of a breach it really was overall, assess the scene to see if there's any punishment, and hopefully Schefter's intuition is correct, and it's just a slap on the wrist, if you will, and not a docking of a draft pick, or picks plural. And if you missed how John Harbaugh handled it last night, here you have it.
Well, the status was pretty much the status all the way through. We were hoping. We weren't going to rule them out before we had to, and I think at the end of the day, it just the conversations that were had, they just didn't feel like the 2 games in the 5 days would be the thing to do, So that comes back to us. And when you hear that as a coach, that's what you do. So with him not practicing, with the first offense throughout the week, it's just getting Tyler ready to go, and we're going to go play football with Tyler. And if Lamar would have come back, if it could have happened, as a coach, I'd have put him in there. And Tyler, you'd understood that, right? That would have been the way it would have gone. But he didn't get to the point where I think they felt comfortable with that part of it. The other part of it, I'm not involved in those rules. I don't know those particular rules. So that was probably, I think in their defense, he practiced a full practice. I think they felt like because he did the same number of reps, it was a full practice. But when you dig in and you read the rule, at the end of the day, it wasn't right. So that's what it was. That's why as soon as we found out, we changed it.
You said they. Who's they? Who makes that
Yeah, that's in the training room and the PR on the other side. It's not in the football side.
John, do you expect
the medical side?
John, do you expect?
But it's an honest mistake. I mean, it really is an honest mistake. I can tell you this: nobody's trying to hide anything. I mean, there's no advantage. There's no advantage to be gained, with that. I mean, it was he practiced. His status was what it was. He was questionable. I do think if we'd have had the old status, maybe they would have said doubtful. Maybe, I don't know. But questionable or out. We weren't going to say out because he wasn't out, until Saturday when that conversation was had on the medical side.
John, do you expect Lamar to be available to start on Thursday night?
You know what? I'm hopeful. I'm just going to say that. I'm hopeful. That's just, as a coach, what you do is you ask. You might, how's he doing? That's about as much as you do. How are we doing and what do you think? And then you get the guys ready that are going to play. Then when the guys come back to practice, you put them in there and you practice them. That's how it works on the coaching side. Coaches aren't involved with, statuses and, whether guys play or not. That's not a coaching decision.
So he hasn't been cleared?
What's that?
Is that when you say that? Are you saying that has he been cleared?
I don't know what cleared means. He wasn't available for this game. He was declared out. That's the status.
All right, that was John Harbaugh yesterday. Not to belabor the point, but just so that we're fully caught up to speed on where things stand, what they're on the record for saying and sharing. And again, John Harbaugh's words, it was an honest mistake. Does that ultimately absolve them of any punishment? We will see. Adam Schefter's guess, from what he knows, perhaps a fine. Interviews to be conducted this week from the NFL into the Ravens organization, and we'll get the latest when we get the latest. This episode is brought to you by my friends at Preston Automotive Group. More on them in just a second. Cam Newton had this to say about Lamar going into Week 9 on First Take earlier today.
Hard to mention that, but hold on, wait. You're telling me there's a chance with the most dominant player in the NFL, and I did not stutter, the most dominant player in the NFL and Lamar Jackson coming back, as we hope him to be healthy, knowing what he is faced with and knowing what he will be faced with, it is going to be tough nevertheless. And I think what the Baltimore Ravens have put themselves in a position is the margin of error is now shrunk, but they're well and capable of being exactly who they want to still be. They're in a division where nobody seems to want to take the lead. You got Cincinnati. You have, Cleveland. We know what they are. And obviously what we've seen in Pittsburgh, these teams have not really took the bull by the horn and said, listen, this is our division this particular year. So, yes, the optics doesn't look good to be 2-5 right now. But yet, with everything trending up, being able to run the football and that spark that Tyler Huntley has been able to produce, now you raise a question, where has this guy been? Hey, where has this defense been? And I know these guys are going to continue to come back with healthy players that can make a big difference.
Cam Newton calling Lamar Jackson the most dominant player in the league. Hard to argue when you see what the Ravens are and what the Ravens clearly aren't without the two-time MVP. And again, there have been 4 teams since 2020 who've stared 2-5 in the face and gone on to make the postseason. Most recently, the 2023 Green Bay Packers. The Ravens are going to try to be the 5th since 2020 to grace this list. This episode is brought to you by my friends at Preston Automotive Group, and I think you guys know by now that the last couple years I've been fortunate enough to be rolling around in the Bobby Baltimore Bronco, a 2023 Ford Bronco Sport. It has treated me and my family, and you want to know why I say my family? Because any chance they get to get behind the wheel of the Bobby Baltimore Bronco, they take it and run. And I never seem to actually, when I'm with the fam, like when my mom was in town the other day, I actually don't even feel like I have the car at my disposal because she's out cruising through St. Pete before I know it. At Preston Automotive Group on Instagram is a great way to familiarize yourself. I usually show you PrestonMotor.com, and that direct link is included in the show notes. But for the purpose of today, I want to show you their Instagram because I think it gives you a great idea for how active they are in the Baltimore scene. They directly partner, and at least have in the past, with Ravens players like Mark Andrews and Kyle Hamilton. They have a current partnership with Mark Andrews, who's had a quiet year. Gosh, I hope for his sake and this Ravens offensive sake that he gets going. But at Preston Automotive Group on Instagram, here's what they're up to. They have a presence every single home game where I used to do my pregame show at the Be More Around Town tailgate lot, which is 801 West Austin Street. They're always giving away things. They're always partnering with different Baltimore area companies. And right now, if you are a Bobby Baltimore subscriber and you are in the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle and you find something you like at Preston, because their inventory has well over 3,000 vehicles that are available to you, just let them know that I sent you. They're going to give you a $500 credit towards a new or pre-owned vehicle. When you buy 4 tires, this is offer number 2. When you buy 4 tires at Preston, you'll get 50% off your alignment if you tell them that you're a Bobby Baltimore subscriber. So again, PrestonMotor.com. You can also just scan the QR code that you see in the upper right-hand corner. Go check out their Instagram page. Did I drop that in? I did. I did drop the Instagram link in there at Preston Automotive Group. We'll probably do more giveaways before the year's over, since they always like to get involved there. Here's Mark. This is kind of cool. They announced this last month. It's a bummer that he's had such a quiet start to the season, but as they posted, every touchdown that Mark scores this season helps raise $890 towards finding a cure for type 1 diabetes. So again, they're working with the Breakthrough Type 1 Diabetes Foundation, and got a lot of respect for Mark. Not only knowing that he is a diabetic playing football at the highest level, but just what he's been dealing with, obviously, whether it was last year's car accident, the aftermath of that playoff drop, the fumble, and now a very slow statistical start to his season. He's doing great work in the community, as is Preston Automotive Group. So go check him out, and I appreciate you guys for the continued support, as I appreciate Preston Automotive Group. Let's open up the guest lines. I got Rave, Richard, and others in the waiting room. Who's up first? The guest lines are open if you'd like to share a thought. Sea King, King of the Seas says, Bobby, you trying to go to a Bucks game next season? Why next season? I'm trying to get to one this year, to be honest with you, Sea King. But I got to wait for it to match up perfectly with like a week that the Ravens aren't playing on a Sunday. If they don't make the playoffs, looks like Tampa's going to be in the playoffs, so maybe I go to a playoff game in January if that ends up matching up accordingly. But definitely want to go to a Bucks game. I feel like I've barely done anything since I moved here, because I moved here Labor Day weekend, and then the Ravens season began, and it just engulfs you. Like, content just engulfs you. That's just what happens in this business. And hey, I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, Richard and Rave are not in the picture right now. So King Judah's with, okay, excuse me. Richard is in the picture. And I never answered your text, so apologies. You had a little bit of a scare within the last couple weeks. We won't talk about that, though, on the air now, will we? Maybe you can give me more context on that over text. But in comes Asmodeus Thanatos. Let's go ahead and grab the 60-second countdown to keep these guys honest, because yesterday you guys just took that and run, didn't you? You just took it and ran. And we'll reset that, of course, from my guy, Richard. Welcome to the program, brother. You're 60 seconds now. Talk to me, my man.
Well, I would say definitely, 2 weeks of consistency from the defense is definitely promising. I saw the game I saw the game in the car ride on my way back from OBX. So the Wi-Fi was a little bit spotty, but I mean, it was a good game for sure. Dude, you got to give a shout out to Tyler Huntley for the way that he played. I mean, I haven't seen him play like that ever. Under the Ravens uniform. So I mean, the fact that there's some things I like, there's some things I don't like. I don't like the fact the O-line's still the same. I like the fact that they're using Keaton Mitchell. Keaton Mitchell is somebody that should have been on the field since week 1. He was not. That's an indictment on Harbaugh. That's an indictment on Monkin for not being able to use him. But hey, they're at least learning something. Can we get a Voorhees and Falele replacement? That would be that'd be great.
It's a great point, and it's a perfect segue for me because I'm about to talk about him right now. I just don't know how you justify. I'm going to use all 22's Derek Coleman's content here in a minute. We're going to have him on the show tomorrow to talk a little bit about the defense. We won't probably talk much about 34. But, man, when he's involved, whether it be from a special teams perspective as a kickoff return specialist or in the backfield where we know he's his best form, he's his best self when he's involved, whether it be first or second hand or directly or indirectly with the football, good things happen. You saw that yesterday. And again, even if he isn't directly involved in the play, he brings this element of speed, misdirection, explosiveness, right? The ability to keep defenses honest. And down the line, if they don't make the playoffs, there are going to be a lot of questions. To be honest with you, regardless of whether or not they make the playoffs, there will be questions. Because if they don't go the distance this year, we're going to be having, and then let's say they make the playoffs, they don't go the distance. We're going to be having very similar conversations to the ones that we were having a year ago, which were what? It was the opening way that this team scuffled in 2024 had major implications on seeding and ultimately forced them to go on the road much earlier than they would have had to otherwise had they had their shit together from a passing defense standpoint in the first quarter plus of the season. Well, what do they got to do instead? You got to go to Buffalo in January in a freaking blizzard in sub-temperatures. They got what they deserved, and if we're talking about it again, the questions that we're going to be asking months from now, how do you not have Keaton Mitchell involved? How do you have him inactive? What are your answers? There will have to be answers for that, and you're going to be looking at the GM, you're going to be looking at the head coach, and really top down from a staff standpoint. So I appreciate you bringing it up, brother.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too, man. Later. Yep. Richard in the house. Guest lines are open. Appreciate you guys for being with me. Derek Coleman went on a little bit of a rant, all 22 film analysis. We shared this on the Vault. I think it's so good. We're sharing it again here on the Bobby Baltimore channel. Here is Derek Coleman talking Keaton Mitchell.
Had a huge burst. I want to talk about that a little bit here. There's a lot to be happy about. We got to win. His stats in the end, right, are offensively don't look like much. 4 carries for 43 yards. He did have the 2 kick returns for 66. So you're talking about 6 touches today, over 100 yards. Now, of course, only the 4 carries counts on the offensive side. It makes me confused and frustrated, to be honest with you, in that he only had 3 carries before today's win, and that was in the loss to the Texans. He was inactive for multiple games. The reason or justification from Harbaugh was he doesn't play on special teams. I mean, we heard from so many people in training camp about how dominant he was, how impressive. Ken from Film Study Ravens even said, he's been the best player in training camp. And in the preseason, we got confirmation there. He was spectacular in the limited times or limited exposure we saw of Mitchell in the preseason. I get it that overall we were all fed a line of bullshit from training camp by the media. Well, actually multiple lines in terms of how good the defense was. But that one, Mitchell clearly has a lot of ability. He can change the game with 1 touch. That first pin pull pitch, it's in the 3rd quarter. I think it's a 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8. Nobody on our roster, including Lamar, gets the corner in that way. No one. Mitchell has to get touches, to me. Let's just for a moment pretend or operate as if Lamar is not going to play on Thursday. For this offense to get close to its ceiling without Lamar, Mitchell's got to get touches. He does. To me, he's a special talent, and it's a borderline unconscionable, indefensible position to say that he doesn't have the talent to get opportunities. They sat him, didn't make him active. Today, he's suddenly getting the ball in the 4th quarter when we're up 16-13. We have Derrick Henry, who we're paying a significant amount of money for. It just seems to be so difficult to justify that he's not on the field. He's inactive for multiple weeks. And then this week, he's getting the ball after it's the possession before Wiggins' interception, right? It's a sequence basically that leads to the Wiggins pick, I should say. Mitchell's got the ball twice on that possession. Remember we faced the 3rd and 5. The Bears brought pressure. They nearly get an interception, I think by Biard. It's tipped by Tremaine Edmonds, who only had 3 tackles today, which is shocking because he came into the game with 60 really active. Anyway, I think it's just a huge amount of confusion being put out there by John Harbaugh. And I have to point it out. I believe, like I said, that he had 3 touches in the fourth quarter today, he being Mitchell, after supposedly not being worthy of being made active instead of Rasheen Ali. And now they're both out there returning kicks. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm glad we won, and I'm going to remain positive after this little diatribe. But given Mitchell's ability to change the game with 1 touch, I'm struggling to move past that. I'm struggling to say that there's any reason he shouldn't have 22 to 25 touches at this point, where we are now after 7 games, meaning cumulative, over the first 6 games coming into today.
More where that came from. Derek Coleman joins the vault at 12:45 tomorrow. It's going to be a mainly focused on defense segment, but he had a lot to say, and not one word was inaccurate there about the role, the impact that Keaton Mitchell has when he is directly involved as a playmaker. He averaged 10.8 yards per carry. As Sarah noted on X, he was an excellent complement to Derrick Henry. Hopefully the Ravens continue to involve him, because guess what? It wasn't just in the ground game that you felt his presence. As a return specialist, he finished with 2 returns for 66 yards, including that long of 39 where he found a gap. So this is a player that you want to get involved, that should have been involved for as long as this season's been in existence. And the Ravens will have to answer for why he wasn't, other than the simple, I don't know, cop out, whatever you want to call it. Special teams, come on. 34. We saw it in the preseason. We heard reports of it throughout training camp. And of course, we saw it prior to his ACL tear, which he's almost 2 years removed from in December. You got to have the lightning to Derrick Henry's thunder out there if you want to make a run moving forward. Back to the guest lines we go. Rave, I see you. King Judah, we're coming to you guys next here. Richard says, one question I had, where is Wester? He is lightning too. He is lightning too. LeJohntay Wester. Yeah. Gosh, I haven't thought about LeJohntay Wester in a while, to be honest with you. It's a good question, Richard. Don't know. Where is LeJohntay Wester? Anybody know? By the way, John Harbaugh is set to speak in 30 minutes. An opponent that he will be preparing for in 2 weeks' time with a mini bye attached. Just lost not their starting quarterback, but somebody who's filled in for their original starting quarterback in J.J. McCarthy, and that's Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is undergoing season-ending shoulder surgery. So the Minnesota Vikings, who the Ravens will see in Week 10 at their place out west, will be without Carson Wentz, who's struggled in relief of J.J. McCarthy. And I think based on what I've been following loosely, it sure looks like J.J. McCarthy's going to be ramping up. Maybe he'll be back by then. I would think he's going to be back before then. And he's been dealing with an injury this year. So that's where things currently stand with an opponent that Ravens can't look past Miami. You cannot allow Miami to become a trap game. But that's the latest from a Minnesota perspective. Back to the guest lines. Your 60 seconds, Rave. I hope you make every bit of it count. Rave Kingdom joins the program, and your timer starts now, my friend. Good to see you.
Listen, how y'all doing? Listen, what happened with the Todd Monken video, and y'all, maybe some people might see it a different their own way. How I see it is, he said it's John without saying it's John. Honestly, look. 22 Films just said it right there. He said, I find it hard to get by the fact that why was Keaton Mitchell deactivated so long? Why in the world do we still have the same offensive line going into after the bye week? This is called saying that it's John without saying it. It's simple as that. He literally, and this ain't me taking words out of Monken's mouth. He literally just said, I've been taking slack for these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So honestly, that's not me lying. This is all John. John got it. It's him. It's him. I'm telling you. Why? That's why he ain't put Ben Cleveland in too. That's why. He knows.
Appreciate you, Rave. Enjoy your victory Monday, my guy. King Judah, eyes on the road, baby. Don't get me in trouble. 60 seconds starts now. Happy Victory Monday to you, my friend. Welcome back to the program.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna make this real quick. I want to start off by saying that Huntley played a great game. Huntley, they let him go to shop around. That was good for him to have a chance to try to be a starter. But as long as he can't be a starter anywhere, his place is here in Baltimore behind Lamar Jackson. We look good. Of course, Keaton Mitchell should be on the field, but I want to use the rest of my time talking about what the last caller said. I completely agree. And what's been going on and what we now know has been going on, the reason why they've been bumping heads, meaning John Harbaugh and Todd Monken, is because Monken wanted Keaton on the field. Monken wanted Tez Walker on the field. Monken wants Falele off the field. I believe they're bumping heads because Monken cannot call the offense the way he knows they'll be successful. But he's taking all the flack when we put out a bad product. And it's all because of John Harbaugh. This has John Harbaugh written all over, and Monken is not a guy that's going to bite his tongue. He is telling the world, it is not me, it is John.
Interesting commentary, brother. Great to see you. Safe travels out there. Look, obviously, there have been some quotes that John Harbaugh has given in press conferences like he's about to have in 25 minutes that have called out Todd Monken and his plays in recent weeks. And it's left me baffled at times because, one, yeah, Todd wasn't blindsided by those comments of critique, but to do so publicly certainly was peculiar. Judah, you may have a point. You may have a point. Brother Goose, what say you? 60 seconds starts now. Welcome back to the program, my friend. Chime in, brother.
What's happening, Bobby? What's happening? Hey, number one, go back to your 28th minute on Saturday's program when I was on, and I told you three things. Number one, I said we got to get the coaches to run a good play call all throughout the game. They did. The Baltimore Ravens have got to play good defense, which they did. And Tyler Huntley has got to hold serve, which you didn't believe he would do. And that fool balled out. So anyway, back to what we were talking about. Keaton Mitchell, man, hey, I thought there was a better chance that the government shutdown would end than having Keaton Mitchell out on the field the way things were going. And when he did, what did he do? So it confuses me, but I got a feeling that the man is going to be back on the field from here on in. He's got to be. He just showed his ass. So I'm happy that we did what we did. You got to talk to me about the Falele thing, though, bro, because I can't figure it. I can't.
Well, let me do this. I'll do this. Thank you for the call, Goose. Appreciate you. Hope you're enjoying that Victory Monday. It's been a minute. It had been since mid-September. But Goose knows how it goes, and I know how it goes too. When you speak with conviction and you share an opinion or a take, you risk, as Rex Ryan risked yesterday alongside my take from the day prior, you do risk the idea of having to walk yourself back a little bit. Snoop played well enough to win the game, and Todd Monken set him up for success. It was a complimentary collective effort made by the Ravens in all three phases that ultimately led to a Week 8 victory they had to have. And Snoop picks up his fourth win throughout his career as a Ravens backup. It's his second against Chicago, funny enough. Ironically, you go back to those seasons in 21, 22, one of those 2 years, he played the Bears and found a way to win. Snoop didn't do anything that was star-like. He did things that were required to win the game. He threw with timing. He threw in rhythm. He didn't turn over the football. He managed the game. Todd Monken managed him well from a game planning standpoint. They played Raven-like. 177 yards on the ground. Snoop chipped in 53 of his own. Derrick Henry found the end zone twice in the red zone, and they got Keaton Mitchell involved. God forbid they have to do this again, and their backs are up against the wall, and they got to go with Snoop. You now know what the formula is. And I thought Todd Monken, as a result, deserved a major game ball for his efforts yesterday, along with several other key members of the organization, and that includes Pat Ricard, who made his season debut. Just 14 snaps, which I believe accounted for 23% of the share. So he clearly was on a pitch count, snap count, if you will, making his debut off that calf injury. But, man, you see him put number 53's ass in the dirt. You already know he liked that. And last night, what did he say at his media scrum? I had to let him know. Attaboy, Pat. Let him know. Guest lines are open, and boy, are they ever. You got Brother Goose. Okay, Goose is in here. I'm going to let him go. We're going to kick his ass out. Just kidding, Goose. You already get your time. Taurus is cleaning his glasses at the moment, and he wants me to see. Maurice, if you turn your camera on, you were technically first. So let me know if you're ready to roll. We also got EB down here. Finally, I see him. Usually he's hiding out in the dark doing you never know what after hours. Taurus, get your ass in here. Welcome back to the program. 60 seconds starts now. Talk to me.
All right, real quick, man. I heard what y'all was saying in the vault earlier, Bobby. But just from what I seen, initial reaction, that game plan that they had, it was way different than what's called when Lamar's in the game, man. What you just said about how Huntley was effective, that had everything to do with coaching. This man ain't started a game since last season, and last minute was put on the field. You can't prepare like that as a player other than if your coaches put you in the best spots possible. I seen Henry get back-to-back carries on the goal line stands that I ain't seen damn near all season. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sold. I think Harb's back is against the wall or was against the wall for that game, and he had to show something, and that's what the result was. I ain't sold until Lamar is back and we see what that same game was, that same game plan implemented when Lamar's in the game. Otherwise, I smell bullshit.
I think that's fine. I don't think we're that far off at all. I'm talking about stylistically, schematically, right? You don't need two different. Oh, okay. I was going to let you stay on for a little while. I don't think we're that far off. Look, bottom line is if it's Cooper Rush versus Tyler Huntley, you need literally two different game plans. That's my point, right? You need two different game plans. And again, I'm on record for saying not all that long ago that I felt like Cooper Rush gave them the best chance to win. And maybe I gave him too much credit for what he did in Dallas with an actual sturdy, consistent, body-moving offensive line. That's not the Ravens. They took a step forward up front. Certainly Pat Ricard's presence helped, right? Getting the ball out of Snoop's hands from a game planning standpoint helped. But maybe I gave too much credence to what he did in Dallas because he was not the answer here in Baltimore. I also don't think his backup career is finished. My point is, stylistically, schematically, Tyler Huntley gives you a chance to not have a night and day overall game plan, and the nuance that goes into said game plan can be somewhat similar to what you want to do with Lamar Jackson in the game. EB, you ready to roll? Come on in. Over 900 concurrents. Big Monday show. Appreciate you guys for being with me, as always. If you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, do all the things that help this channel grow if you would. You can become a channel member or gift give membership. As always, I'll get to more super chats as they come in. EB, welcome back to the program. Your 60 seconds starts now. Talk to me.
Well, I ain't gonna really talk too much about Huntley. You already know how I feel about that, Bobby. I'm gonna piggyback off of Rave and King Judah. Monkin is not the problem. It's all Harbs. You already know how I feel about Harbs. At this point, we're sick of your shit, and you have not made any changes whatsoever. Fa la 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 la. It's still on the field. You need to get his ass off the field. Like it's just that simple. Keaton has been sidelined for too long. He was never really supposed to be sidelined. He was supposed to be that lightning. And for whatever reason, Harbs won't get his head out of his own ass and put the boy on the field. Yeah, I know he's coming back from an injury, but from what we saw,
from what he told us, draft night.
Exactly. And from what we saw in that game, Mitchell was supposed to have been on the field. So, I mean, hashtag new head coach 2026. In this case, it should be Todd Monken. And hashtag new fucking ownership, maybe 2030, 2031. Because it's like, Hobbs ain't doing nothing. And the only person who can really get in his grill is Bashadi. And Bashadi is just, Well, hold on. And if we come out of this whole, Bobby, we make a run, as in, let's just say 12-5, just like we did last year, and we put belt the ass, like true belt the ass in this playoffs, and we finally go to the dance and win it, we gonna end up keeping this damn cheerleader for another couple of years, and it's gonna be, oh, Harves did this, oh, Harves did that. He didn't do shit. He's not doing shit. It's all the coordinators and it's all the players at the end of the day. But I mean,
Thanks, EB.
I
Appreciate you, man.
no problem.
Catch up with you. You enjoy the rest of your Victory Monday for us, all right?
You
Keep
do
being good to your mom, too. You're a good man. You're a good man, EB. Appreciate you. TBK's down in the house. Guys, if you haven't already done so, would love for you to join the Bobby Baltimore Discord server. 1,000 members and counting is where we currently stand. And when you do, it's free, by the way. You join a group of like-minded Baltimore sports fans, like-minded sports fans just in general. Here's Jabbo, 234. This is 2.5 hours ago at this point, giving me a little bit of a tidbit here. Thank you, Jabbo, for letting me know. This is what I built this live stream around, and you already know we're going to talk about this tomorrow. The Todd Monken viral video. Friggin' hilarious. Anyway, would love for you guys to join. The access link to do so can be found in the pinned comment right now in the live chat. There's also a link in the show notes. And just for good measure, I'll throw it into the live chat right now in non-pinned fashion. Come on and join. Fun way to consume sports, to hang out with me a little bit more. Let's keep these guest lines moving. TBK, welcome back to the program, brother. Talk to me.
Yo, what's up, Bobby? All right, 3 things. Number 1, if you were one of the ones yesterday who said 1-6 incoming, today is not for you. Get out of here with that fair weather shit. Number 2, I don't know whatever Monkin said. Whatever it was 100% justified, I'm sure. Blame has been passed to the wrong people for far too long.
Let's pause. Let's pause. I'm pausing your time. Here it is,
Yes,
just for those who didn't miss it. This is courtesy of @Hassan back again on Twitter.
Cool.
I'm their muscle.
Taking a lot of fucking flack. Fuck them motherfuckers. Let's go.
Yeah, Todd, I believe in you. Yeah, I gave you a chance.
Run that back for those in the back.
Fuck them motherfuckers.
I'm their muscle.
Taking a lot of fucking flack. Fuck them motherfuckers. Let's go.
Yeah, Todd.
Okay, resume. I think you get the point. Resume, TBK.
Oh yeah, love it. Hey, say what you got to say, Monk. Go off. They've been speaking crazy about him. Third, for everybody, relax. We don't need Tyler Huntley to be Lamar Jackson. We just needed him to win the game, and that's what he did. Y'all enjoy Victory Monday. Bobby, thanks for having me.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate you, TBK. Best setup in the game. You already know how it goes. Who's going to rival that setup? Huh? Hey, Quan, if you think Todd Monken was referring to me in that clip, my man hasn't been paying attention to the content. I've been banging the table. Banging the table. Banging the table. Yes, just the table. That Todd Monken is the least of this team's concerns. Does that mean he's been perfect in recent weeks? No, particularly in the red zone, where his offense more often than not stalls out in recent weeks. Okay? Where you been, Quan? Somebody help Quan out here, please. Quan, don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. Walk and talk night, which is not good because it certainly seems like there's a storm moving in at the moment. That could be a problem. It's walk and talk night. What do you say? Anybody know where Minx to Cutie is at the moment, by the way? Just kidding. Okay. Are we fully caught up on Super Chat? Okay, Quan wasn't talking to me. It's all good, Quan. Appreciate you. I do like, man, there is taking no prisoners these days. No one's safe, in other words, in the live chat. I got to probably be better, a little bit more buttoned up on that. Just ask Ryan from over the weekend. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Sarah and I will be back tomorrow. That's Tuesday, 12 noon Eastern. The Collective tomorrow night. Guys, if you haven't already done so and you haven't joined the Collective, it is with Jeff Zaribek, Cole Jackson, and myself. And on a weekly basis on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern, we go live. It's a trio-type format. It's very highly produced. I'm dropping it into the chat right now. How many subscribers are we at? Okay, we're coming up on 3,500 subscribers. I would love for you guys to do so. Join us tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern, inside the Collective. Sarah and I will be live at noon. And as always, I'll sneak in a late afternoon show in between those shows. And I hope you'll join me for that. Like the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And hit that notification bell. Appreciate you guys as always. Jack, did I say earthquake? I don't know what the hell is going on outside, but it certainly looks like a storm is en route. Palm trees are swaying. Knock on wood, by the way, for my first time down here, my first fall hurricane season. It doesn't seem as if anything's brewing, but I know that can change. I know isn't Jamaica in trouble in the next couple of days? So I know it's that time of year, and I'm going to be escaping to Orlando should anything come in here hot. Tilly and I will just pop over to our family's place in Orlando, which is like 90 minutes from here. But anyway, just whatever. A lot more to come. Appreciate you guys as always. Catch up with you tomorrow inside the vault at 12 noon Eastern. Love this community. Love all of you, including you, Taurus. Enjoy Game 3 of the World Series tonight. How about that? And congratulations to the Orioles finally finding a new manager. Later.